Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Agent Psycho, and let's get started on the very last chapter of the Exploring Arsenal series featuring me, Agent Psycho, aka December 90. I believe this is chapter number 77 or 78, but in any case, I believe that this is the last chapter. Let me see that on the M417 family. Just checking up right now that it is indeed the very last chapter because last time. Clicked on the wrong link again. Last time we did the chapter number on the P220 Combat TB and the M2 Browning, and before that the M682. And now, just consulting the little rank thing on Commander's Wiki, it seems that indeed the M417 is the last chapter of the Explorer Arsenal series. So after nearly a year of doing all these reviews, we have finally reached the end of all the weapons that have been released thus far, and I am now, basically at the end of the ropes. So whenever there's a new weapon come out that comes out, I can immediately do a review on it, and without having to worry about having to do everything else first. But yeah. Other than that, let's get started on the very last review, or the very last family of reviews in Combat Arms. I believe that this is the last chapter. If there is another chapter that I'm forgetting, then please let me know. But I believe this is the last one. Do keep in mind, though, that I am excluding the M16 family, the the M92FS family, and basically all the default weapon families, because those don't count, because they suck anyway. So, yeah. No need for those. You can ask gameplays of them, but I mean, if you want an actual review, then don't look at me, because I refuse to do reviews on them, because it's absolutely pointless. Like, why would you even want them? I don't understand. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's get started on the M417 assault rifle review. So this is obviously, because this is the first episode of this chapter, this is the GP standard variant of the M417 family. Overall, the M417 family is a very good assault rifle family. It's very comparable to the M416 and the M682 families. The M417 is, I like to group them together with all the M4s, like the which includes M4A1 family, the M416 family, the M417 family, the M682 family, and the Rec 7 family, and the Rec 7 Rangers. I think I mentioned before in other chapters that I've mentioned, like just now, that like I like to group it in the spectrum, like a recoil and damage spectrum. Like on the, let's say, like on the very left side of the recoils, or the M4 spectrum, I should say, where recoil is minimal. You've got the M4A1, and you've got the M416. Like the M4A1 is like on the furthest end, because the M4A1 family, all those weapons have like extremely low recoil, and right after that, like maybe a little bit to the right, is the M416's family, where they have a little bit higher recoil, but it's not that much higher, and they've still got that reliable and very powerful damage of the family. And the Barons is kind of like a little bit more to the right of that, because the Barons is a little bit more powerful, or I shouldn't say a little bit more, but it's much more powerful, and it's got a little bit more recoil added onto it. At that. So, and then after that, I believe I want to say it's like it's the M682 and the M417 family. I don't really know which one is like more left or more right, but they to me, in my eyes anyway, they seem pretty similar. They're like the middle of the pack. They're both pretty strong. Or the M682 is still technically the same as like the same damage as the M4A1, but it has a little bit more recoil. So the M682 and the M417, they're kind of about the same because of their variants. Their variants definitely vary in like their damage and their recoil spectrums, but the recoils are definitely heavier than the M416s or the M4A1s. And then on the very far side, like the furthest right, you've got the Rec 7 and the Rec 7 Rangers, where they're very powerful, and they got a lot of recoil. So there you go. That's where the M417 stands. So, a little bit of background information on the M417. The M417 does cost 11 GP a day and 5,390 GP for a week, and is is the highest ranking weapon, like GP standard weapon in Combat Arms, at First Lieutenant 4. And yeah, let's get started on the statistics. The damage on the M417 is at a 39, so this matches the damage profile on the M416 CQB, and let's see, the M416 CQB, and I think that's the only other M4 variant that shares. Oh, the M682 SRT. Of course, I couldn't forget about that. However, the M417 doesn't really seem to be as strong as the M417, M416 or the M682 SRT. This may be because of the fact that the CQB and the SRT both have lower recoil spectra or recoil stats than the M417. Though technically speaking, the SRT has the same recoil stat as the M417 at 64. However, I just feel that the SRT and the CQB just kill faster than M417 for some reason. I don't really know why, but the M417 doesn't give off the feeling that it's very powerful. I would even say that the M481 is more powerful, but that's only because of the fact that the M481 has no recoil, so every shot, like most of your shots will hit, whereas M417 has a little bit higher recoil. So I shouldn't say a little bit, it definitely has higher recoil. So you're gonna be missing for a few shots here and there when you spray. So obviously it's gonna take a longer time to kill people. But in any case, my point is that the M417's damage profile doesn't seem to be as strong as, say, the M416 CQB or the SRT, or maybe even the M481. Who knows? But still, it's at 39, so take it for what you will. It's still a powerful assault rifle for what it is. Portability is at a 62, so this matches the portability on the M416s. Rate of fire is at a 74, so it's standard amongst all M4 variants. Accuracy has an 80, so it's the same accuracy on most of the M416s and the M481s. And the recoil is at a 64, which is 4 points higher than the M4A1, 2 points higher than the M416, and I believe it's the same as the M46. Actually, the M416 had 63 recoil, so my bad there. But the M417 does share same identical recoil stats as the M416 and the M682, I believe. I want to think. So yeah, as for its recoil spread, the recoil spread on the M417, honestly speaking, I would compare it most to the M682s. I don't know, the M682s and the M417s just feel very similar for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know, I could just be weird like that, but I don't know if any of you guys agree with me, but they just feel very similar in terms of their damage and their recoil aspects. The M417's recoil spread does spread out, it spreads out similarly to the M416's, it's definitely not the same as the M4A1, it's much heavier than the M4A1s, but it's very similar to the M6A2s and the M416's recoil spreads, and the recoil kickback, the hipfire kickback is similar to the M682s, but when you scope in, when you ADS with its forced ITECH scope, I believe that the M417's recoil kickback is very pronounced. You can definitely notice that it has a very pronounced diagonal kick. That's one of the major problems that it has. That if you spray with it while aiming down sights, or if you tap fire too fast, you'll notice that your scope will immediately kick diagonally upwards or diagonally leftwards. Rightwards, leftwards. Anyways, most of the time it'll kick up and to the right, diagonally right. So you may want to. It's very predictable in that sense, but you might wanna be wary of that because obviously diagonal recoil is very bad and it throws off your aim very much. So once again, keep an eye out for that. As for its overall recoil controllability, I feel that you definitely need to consciously control the recoil on the M417 because unlike the M6A2 and all of the M4 variants, the M417 for some reason, like just the M4 this GP standard M417 variant, for some reason the M417 doesn't feel very accurate. Maybe that's why it doesn't feel like it kills very fast because I don't know, when you're spraying at someone, it just doesn't feel like most of the bullets actually hit them. Like first 3 bullets, like statistically speaking, like it will only the first 2 bullets might hit, but you know, maybe most of the time the third won't if you're spraying at something at middle range. So I don't know. Maybe you guys can come up with the theory of why this is with the M417, but I don't know. I just don't feel like it's a very accurate assault rifle, so that's why I'm recommending you guys to consciously control the recoil on it because maybe most of your shots won't hit, and you need to control it by controlling the recoil on this thing, making sure that spread stays as small as possible. That's what she said. Let's see, moving on here, I'm looking down my list of things to talk about. The Tapfire ability, I've kind of mentioned it before, but if you go full on with it, then you will find that your shots will go straight up, and then immediately diagonally upwards, or diagonally upwards to the left or to the right. Most of the time I'll go to the right first, and then left, but, you know, you don't want to take risks, just don't let that happen. As for its overall Tapfire ability, I feel that the M417 has a very bad problem with jamming. This may be because of the fact that I was recording and my recording lag screwed my Tapfire up, but I don't know. Even off recording, I felt like the M417 still had slight problems with Tapfire ability. It's not so much as over Tapfiring, but it's more the jamming problem, and I think that jamming is much more serious than over tap firing, because over tap firing, while it might be annoying at times, all you need to do is just stop shooting, and then the recoil pattern will set it back to normal. With jamming, however, you can't fire. Like, let me explain for those of you guys who don't know, in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Over tap firing is when you tap fire so fast that your gun stops going straight up and it stops bouncing up and down when you're aiming down sights, and instead starts kicking around like to the left, to the right. So that's over tap firing. But at least over tap firing, you still get your gun still fires a bullet whenever you click. Every time you click. With jamming though, what jamming is that even when you click, you're tap firing so fast that your gun can't physically fire a bullet. This may kind of preserve your recoil pattern in that it'll keep going up and down. But what use is that if you can't fire a bullet fast enough, you know? So that's why I believe that that jamming is a much more serious problem than over tap firing is. And unfortunately, the M417 does have a problem with jamming. And if you tap fire too fast, then you might find that the M417 doesn't fire a bullet when you want it to. So there you go. Just a heads up there. Just a little warning. Sprint drawback, the M417 actually handles very, very similarly to the M6A2. In fact, all its mechanical performances and animations, like the sprint drawback, the draw animation, are pretty much identical except for the reload speed, or the reload animation. Even then, though, the reload animations are very, very similar, but there is a subtle difference. But whatever, that's just something trivial. Just know that the M417 does handle very, very identically to the M6A2. Not all of it, but pretty close. So if you're used to M6A2, if you're used to how it performs and how it handles like the mechanics of it, then you'll definitely get very suited to the M417 very, very quickly. Other than that, the reload speed is very quick. It's just like the M6A2. I believe because their reload animations are so similar. I would expect that their reload speeds are actually very similar too. In fact, they pretty much are. So yeah, they both have very quick reloads. You can definitely count on them to reload guns very quickly. The reason behind this is because of the fact that the reload animations for the M6A2 and both the M6A2 and the M417 is that unlike other weapons like the M4A1, the Rec 7 Rangers, or not just Rangers, but the Rec 7 and the Rangers and the M416 family, all those weapons require that you first take out your magazine. Like your character, basically how your character reloads those guns is by taking out the magazine, inserting another one into the gun, and then cocking back the charging handle in order to load another bullet. With the M6A2 and the M417, however, your character doesn't actually do that last charging handle part. Your character doesn't pull back the charging handle, even though there is one visible on the M416, or I should say the M417 and the M6A2. All your character does is pop out a magazine and pop one back in, and that's it. The reload's done. So in that sense, the reload is pretty fast on the M417, or it just gives that vibe. It's kind of like a placebo effect that it seems a lot faster. Like honestly speaking, I feel like the M417's reload speed is still pretty similar. Like maybe it could be like a half second faster, but in all honesty, it's not that much faster than like say an M4A1 without any magazine mods. But it just, I don't know, it could be important because placebo effects are still very important. If you feel that your gun reloads faster than say another gun, then it probably will, and all the power to you. So there you go, that's the reload speed. Fire modes, it is only available in fully automatic. Let's see, anything else here? Luck? The M417 isn't very lucky. That's definitely for sure. It's no XK8 or it's no KH2002. So yeah, don't expect to get a lot of lottos with this thing. You can try going for headshots, but this isn't one of those guns to go for them headshots, man. Ammo capacity. It has a standard ammo capacity, unlike the M6A2, which has special 35 round clip out of with 105 rounds in reserve. The M417 still has that standard 30 round magazine with 90 bullets in reserve. Other than that, the muzzle noise is also, or I should say, before the muzzle noise, the key physical characteristics on the M417 is that, well, how could I think of this? The design, if you look at the design, if you just look at a gun as a whole, it looks very, it stands out, but overall, it looks pretty similar to like a standard M4A1 or M16 build. I mean, pretty much all these weapons look very similar. If you just focus on the barrel and the charging handle and the magazine and the grip, they all kind of resemble like the basic M16 build. So, in that sense, I suppose you can just compare them all and say, oh, they all look the same. But in case, well, unless you don't really care about detail, you can say that, but I'm pretty sure people will, differentiate these guns because they all look a little bit different. I suppose in the case of the M417, the way that you can make it, you can tell it apart from others is by its force ITECH scope and the fact that its barrel is pretty short, and because of the fact that the buttstock is actually pretty elongated. I've never really seen that long of a buttstock before, so. That sounds vaguely sexual, but we'll forget about that and move right along. Anyways, that's M417 for you. The muzzle noise is a very unique muzzle firing noise. I don't believe that any other assault rifle family has the same firing noise, and it was a very, I wouldn't say high frequency, but it's very loud. It's very loud. It makes like a very darting noise. I don't know if that's a very good adjective to describe it, but it's very loud, and you'll be able to hear it pretty well. Unless you got a silencer, of course, then that changes things. But I don't recommend a silencer on this because it already feels weak enough anyway. You don't want to put a silencer on this thing. Attachment options. Speaking of silencers, attachment options, you can attach anything on it except for a sight because it comes with the Force ITECH scope. And sometimes I wish this wasn't the case, but well, we gotta work with what we've got. So, it's got a Force ITECH scope, so you don't have to worry about slapping a sight on the M417, which may or may not be an advantage to you, but take it for what you will. You can put on suppressors and magazine modifications, but that's it. Fire team worthy? Well, pretty much any assault rifle is pretty worthy for fire team, M417 included. But you might want to consider bringing another stronger assault rifle in case you feel that M417 is a little bit too weak to fight zombies or something like that. Quarantine? Well, I don't really recommend bringing assault rifles to quarantine anyway, so go with like a submachine gun or something. As my frank personal opinions, before we get to that, the customizations. So the M417, just like the M6A2, is able to be customized. It is able to accept all customizations, all three: barrel, piston, and trigger. And I recommend that. I don't really know if you want to get all of them. You may want to consider getting the accuracy, which is, I believe, the piston customization, because the barrel is the damage part. You may want to consider getting a level 3 customization for the trigger, or not the trigger, the piston, which alters its recoil and the accuracy. You don't need to worry so much as changing its overall recoil aspects. However, if you customize the piston for level 3, you may feel a change in your Tapfire ability in that you might be able to Tapfire a little bit better than you might have before. I think that's the change. I think that's the kind of change that the customization brings to the M417 in terms of its accuracy / recoil. In my opinion, it changes its Tapfire ability so it Tapfires a little bit better. But don't take my word on it. It's just what I felt. Definitely take the damage customization, because that basically bumps up your killing capacity from like maybe a strong 4-shot or medium 4-shot kill to like either a weak 3-shot or a strong 4-shot kill, and it definitely helps. It doesn't feel that much stronger, but it definitely does feel a little bit stronger. So level 3 barrel, I definitely do recommend. As for its trigger, which is rate of fire, I mean, it doesn't really do much. So I don't really recommend that at all. It doesn't feel... Overall, the trigger customizations on weapons don't really feel like they do much, if at all, if anything. So I don't recommend a trigger because it just won't do anything for you. But do definitely take the damage customization, and do consider the accuracy customization. It might help out, but in case it screws you over, then I'm sorry that, suggest that to you, and I'm sorry that didn't work out. Anyways, those are customizations. So overall, I believe that the customizations do work well on the M417. Just you gotta choose the right ones. So, my overall frank personal opinions on the M417 is that it's a good assault rifle. However, I would personally recommend the M6A2 over the M417 because even though the M417 feels stronger than the M6A2, I feel that the M6A2's larger magazine capacity and easier ability to tap fire, and the fact that you can put an ACOG on the M6A2 makes it overall a better weapon than the M417. That's just my opinion, guys. And also, the M6A2 comes with the 3-round burst option if you ever need that for whatever reason, so, and whereas the M417 doesn't. So, yeah, unfortunately, I do recommend the M6A2 over the M417. But if you want to try out the M417, you're more than welcome to because it's still a very, very good assault rifle, and there's no reason why you can't do very well with this gun. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys later in the next review on this chapter on the M417 CQB. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys later.